And what is up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. I am your host, Pep Fernandez. This is week 9 of the high school football season, if you are keeping track at home. And it is that time of the year as we begin to start thinking about playoffs. Who's going to win league titles? Who's in one of those automatic playoff spots? Who might be an at-large team to get to the postseason? Because we've only got one more week of regular season play. So one more week so teams can make their case to get to the playoffs. So week 9 was very important. We had some big games that went down to the very end. We've got a lot of great highlights, some interviews, all the scores, a little bit of analysis as well. Sports Weekly Live on IEMG starts right now. Well, greetings to all our friends out there watching here on IEMG. That is the Inland Empire Media Group. If you haven't done so already, if you're watching us on YouTube, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. That's the best thing. If you don't get IEMG TV in the city of San Bernardino, that's okay. You can watch it anywhere, anytime on the IE Media Group YouTube channel, so please subscribe. We'd appreciate it. All right, we got a lot of great highlights to get to. I think we've got 13 or 14 games we want to show you. We're going to not only show you the scores, we're going to show you some of the updated league standings for some of the leagues that we really focus on here on this show on Sports Weekly Live. So with that said, let's start with the San Andreas League. We're going to start with the Arrowhead Athletic Conference and a big game for San Gorgonio on the road at Grand Terrace. Now, remember, there's only 4 teams in the SAL, so it's a 3-week sprint to the league championship, so every game counts. San Gorgonio playing at Grand Terrace. Yes, the Titans had their ups and downs throughout the season, but when they got to league play, they picked up a win last week. They were playing San G this week. If they could punch their ticket to the playoffs, it would kind of fix everything that happened early on in the season. Head coach Ryan Taylor's a rookie head coach doing a great job, but this would be a signature victory for Grand Terrace if they could beat San G. And you already know the story on San G. The Spartans have been good all season long. In fact, they probably shoulda, coulda beat Jurupa Hills in the previous week. And then, of course, opening league play with a big win against Rim of the World. Now they were going on the road to Grand Terrace. Not an easy task. Let's take you out there to GT. Spartans in the icy whites, and there is Grand Terrace in the home black uniforms for this one. I think it was Military Appreciation Night. San Gorgonio High School Spartans trying to win on the road and take control of the San Andreas League, but Grand Terrace looking to try to do the same thing. Both teams were 1-0 in the SAL. Kickoff, bouncing around, goes out of bounds. No foul, no harm right there. Then it's going to be Xavier Oliver. Oh, that's going to leave a gash. Big time touchdown run, a little hop skip into the end zone for Xavier Oliver, one of the top running backs in the area. And that is going to tie the game at 7 apiece, as you can see there in the second quarter. Then later, it's going to be more Oliver as we just get the tail end of him running into the end zone to give Grand Terrace a 14-7 lead. Xavier Oliver had a massive game as Grand Terrace led by a touchdown at the break. Go to the second half and more from Xavier Oliver. Big time run for Oliver. Just kind of scoots out of bounds before taking the hit. Probably a smart business decision, as they like to say, at least at the pro level. But Oliver gets out of bounds after a big run. And then he can also play some defense. They use him on both sides of the football, and why not? Here's Oliver breaking up the deep ball from San Gorgonio. Nice job there by Oliver. Probably thought he could have an interception. Now Grand Terrace has got several great players on defense. How about Angelou Flamenco? Flamenco gets into the backfield for the sack there for Grand Terrace. But San Gorgonio would finally break through once again. Remember, they were trailing 14-7, but Jacob Russell finds Deron Tyson. And if it's a foot race, man, nobody is going to get him. Look, two of the fastest guys, Deron Tyson and Xavier Oliver, and Tyson wins the foot race for the touchdown. What was that, 98 yards? Touchdown San G, tied at 14 in the third quarter. But Oliver would give the Titans the lead once again, about 40 yards on this scamper, and this time it's Oliver staying ahead of Tyson on that run. 21-14, Grand Terrace back on top. And then it's going to be Grand Terrace's defense trying to basically do the job and hold on to this lead throughout the second half here as we're, getting close to the fourth quarter. Good tackle for the loss there by GT. And then later, San G trying to go downfield, and we've got, they're trying to go to the end zone, but where's the flag? There it is. Pass interference as GT is called on it. San Gorgonio was trying to go to the end zone, but the defense would stand tall for the Titans. Another sack there for Grand Terrace. Now, San G, later in this game, would come back to tie things up. Russell is going to find Anthony Rucker. Big pickup here. So that would eventually lead to a San G touchdown. It was tied at 21 when Xavier Oliver at the end of the game, here it is as we fast forward, touchdown Grand Terrace, and none other than Oliver getting back into the end zone for another Grand Terrace score. 29-21. Grand Terrace wins this showdown with San Gorgonio, and now they have control of the SAL. But they've got a huge game coming up against Rim of the World, so we'll see how the SAL is going to shake out. So if Grand Terrace wins out, let me just get to the league standings, but if Grand Terrace wins out, they will be 3-0. But they've got to get past Rim of the World next week, and that's never easy. The Scots are tough, but Grand Terrace will be home for that one as Ryan Taylor and the Titans try to win and wrap up the sole possession, the outright league title. As for San Gorgonio, they're going to finish up with Rialto, and for the sake of our conversation here on Sports Weekly Live, let's assume San G wins that game against Rialto next week. They would move to 2-1 in the SAL and finish runner-up in the league standings and get an automatic spot to the playoffs. But if Rim of the World beats Grand Terrace, we'd have a three-way tie for the league title. So what happens after that? I don't know. We'll have to wait for the CIF playoff brackets to come out next Sunday. But that's the way it looks right now in the SAL. It's going to be a lot of fun going into week number 10. We know that. All right, let's keep it in the Arrowhead Athletic Conference. And now we're going to go from the San Andreas League down to the Skyline League. And the big game in the Skyline League was Colton versus Carter. This was for first place in the Skyline League. Both teams were 3-0 in league play going into this contest. So the winner of this one would emerge as the sole possession of first place and the favorite to win the league championship. So Colton versus Carter. Let's take you out to Hub City, USA. Colton High School tied at 14 in the second quarter. Ray Rodriguez and the Yellow Jackets trying to get the job done at home. But the Lions come out running hard. Jordan McKinney. McKinney, the big run here for Carter High School. Then it's going to be quarterback Ryder Carson over to Joey Martinez. Carter on the move. And they're going to go back to the ground game. They get into the red zone with this run by McKinney. McKinney gets into the red zone inside the 10-yard line. Carter knocking on the door of a touchdown. It's going to be Carson going to the end zone. But Calvin Leon comes up with a big-time interception for Carter, for Colton against Carter. And that would keep Carter out of the end zone. So we are still tied at 14 at halftime. So Colton comes out in the third quarter looking to break this tie. It was actually Carter with the opening kickoff. They go for the onside kick to try to get that momentum back from the Yellow Jackets, but Colton not having it. They recover here. They go on offense. It's going to be Koa Regalado to Ethan Moreno. Big time pickup for the Yellow Jackets as they're knocking on the door of the 30-yard line. And then it's going to be Regalado to Julian Gonzalez. All alone in the end zone. Touchdown, Colton. They take a 21-14 lead. And guess what? This game would turn into a big-time shootout, and it would be Colton winning this game by final score of 49-37. to 41. So now Colton is 4-0 in the Skyline League. They have sole possession of first place. If they win next week, they will be crowned your outright Skyline League champions. Congratulations to Hub City. That was a huge, important win against Carter High School. And I believe at the end of the show, we're going to look at Week 10, the matchups coming up next week. But I believe Colton's going to end up with Arroyo Valley next week to wrap up regular season play. All right, speaking of Arroyo Valley, the Hawks on the road at Faux High. And the Steelers trying to strengthen their case to get to the playoffs. Arroyo Valley still holding on to a chance, but they would need a win at Faux High to keep those hopes alive. First quarter, Steelers quarterback Ruben Camacho, the Macho Man, 50 yards to receiver Winston Velasquez. Steelers up 6-zip. Later in the first, it's Camacho to Winston again. This time, 12 yards wide open for the touchdown to Winston Velasquez, 14-0. Faux High on top. Second quarter, it's going to be Rashawn Williams from the doorstep. Get in there. 20-zip Faux High. They were on a roll. Later, now in the second quarter, Arroyo Valley on offense, but Akari Augustine, the pick six. 69 yards back the other way, and Faux High led 26-0 at halftime. Start of the third quarter, Aiden Branham onside kick, and oh my goodness, Faux High recovers. The Steelers are not done yet. Third quarter, 3rd and goal from the Hawks 24. They're backed up a little bit, but it would not matter. Camacho is going to find his guy, Augustine. 24 yards. What a catch in the end zone by Augustine. Great catch there for the Steelers. Final score in this one would be 40-8. One more score here. The receiver hitting his guy in the end zone. 40-8. Big win for Faux High to stay in the hunt for a playoff spot in the Skyline League. Our guy Jesus caught up with head coach Eric Gonzalez of Fontana, talking about the big win against Arroyo Valley.
I think it was definitely a game that kind of refocuses us. I don't think it's a statement game yet. I think next week will be a statement game because that's going to get us in the playoffs. So we got to win this next week.
Speaking of playoffs, your team now moves to a firm position at 2-2 in the league play in Skyline Conference. Currently holding on to that last spot into that final game on the road at Bloomington. Do you have any thoughts before you head into that game next week?
Yeah, Bloomington's a really good team. I think it's probably the best team that I've seen Bloomington have since I've been here. And we got to play a very disciplined game, and we got to have a great week of practice, and we got to get ready to play. For us, we've been in playoff mode. For us, this is a playoff game. And from here on out, we got to win out if we want to win the league. So next week is as big a game as any.
All right, good stuff there by Coach Gonzalez, and our guy Jesus has been covering games all season long here for Sports Weekly Live. Thank you, Jesus. All right, now moving along to the Mountain Valley League. And listen, A.B. Miller, I think according to my math, they had already wrapped up the league championship. Week number 9 was actually their last regular season game. They do not have a game in week number 10, so this was it for them, and A.B. Miller was trying to cap off the perfect league season, move to 4-0. Mountain Valley League champions. They would go to 8-2 overall on the season if, big caveat there, if they could win at Indian Springs. The Coyotes have battled the Rebels in both their meetings this season in MVL play. Remember, in the Mountain Valley League, each team plays each other twice. So this round, the Rebels going on the road to San Bernardino to take on the Coyotes. Let's take you out to Indian Springs High School. Coyotes and Rebels, let's do this. Indian Springs staying in the playoff hunt. They got a huge game next week against San Bernardino. Playoff spots and league standing implications huge in that game next week. But let's get to the highlights in this one. Rebels and Coyotes start with Indian Springs on offense. Quarterback Michael Reyes to Sebastian Ramos Romero. Big pickup there for the Coyotes, moving down the field. And then it's going to be David Mancha ripping off a big run right up the gut of A.B. Miller, goes up the seam. And then later on that drive, it'll be Reyes to Jarrell Cole. Nice pickup here, and he always knows where the Sports Weekly Live camera. We see you, Jarrell. That's right. Later on that same drive, Reyes can't handle the snap, but he's got his security blanket. Look what time it is. It's Mancha time! Mancha with a great run after the catch gets into the end zone, and he gives Indian Springs the 6-0 lead. Yeah, Mancha time. We know what time it is. 6-zip Coyotes. Then it's going to be A.B. Miller with the football. Kind of a rough start for the Rebels. They fumble the football here. Oh, my goodness. And Indian Springs would take over. It'll be Reyes to number 7, Andrew Ortiz. Nice pickup here by the Coyotes as they were moving down the field. But it would come to 4th down. Indian Springs going for it. And Miller gets the stop in the end zone. So no points for the Coyotes on that drive. So now the Coyotes have to buckle down on defense. They've got the Rebels pinned up around the 5-yard line. And there's your guy, Neri Ocampo. Big tackle for the loss for Indian Springs. So A.B. Miller forced to punt. Punting out of their own end zone. The kick is off. So a nice safety kick there to get out of the end zone. And the ball is loose on the other end. Fumble, and the Rebels recover, so they get the ball right back, and they're going to go to their guy, Ruben Palacios. Palacios, big run around the left side, and that's going to be a 1st down, a little bit more with some change for Palacios. Now 4th down for A.B. Miller now, and Ilya Ridge in the 2nd quarter connects the pass. That's a 1st down for the Rebels. So the drive lives on around the 10-yard line. It'll be Palacios, another run all the way to the goal line. He nearly got in there, but it'll be right on the doorstep. It would come down to 4th down, and Ilya Ridge is going to push it in for the score, and we got ourselves a new ball game here, 7-6, A.B. Miller. Then later in the 2nd quarter, it's Coyotes with the football, and they were moving down the field, and we'll see if Indian Springs can come away with some points on this drive. That was Carter Porter, and then it's going to be Hector Aguilar. Big run here after the catch. Gets to the pylon. They did not give it to him, so the Indian Springs Coyotes would still have to punch it in, and they would do exactly that. It'll be Reyes on the QB keeper as Indian Springs retakes the lead. But this game was far from done. It was a shootout. A.B. Miller would actually grab the lead. The Coyotes were down by 17. Indian Springs would come all the way back to tie it at 42. But A.B. Miller would win on a field goal in the final seconds. 45-42, the final score. And it was A.B. Miller winning it to now go to 4-0 in the MVL. So here's your updated Mountain Valley League standings. And there it is. A.B. Miller wraps up the regular season, your Mountain Valley League champion at 4-0 in league play, 8-2 overall. They are done. They're going to just sit around and wait and see what Indian Springs and San Bernardino will do next week. If San Bernardino and Indian Springs both finish 1-3. That would mean the Cardinals win next week against the Coyotes head-to-head. Then both of them would be 1-3 and tied for 2nd in the MVL. After that, I don't know. I'll have to reach out to the coaches and find out what happens. Is it a coin toss? Is it overall record? Is it point differential? All those things are going to matter, I think, coming down to the final week. But if Indian Springs beats San Bernardino next week, then it's a moot point. It's all Coyotes. The Coyotes are 2nd place, and they get in. So that is how the MVL looks, all right? Now let's go to the Mesquite. Arrowhead Christian taking on Western Christian in this one. Eagles on the attack. It's quarterback Cole Fornelli to Toby Fisher, and then that'll set up this. So it's a 2-yard run by Max Hilliard. He goes in for the score. Touchdown, Eagles. Now, Western Christian would battle back in this one. We're going to show you a Lancers touchdown coming up. This was a little bit later in the game, in the 3rd quarter, I believe. A touchdown pass there from short yardage, but it was all Eagles in this one. We'll show you another score. It's going to be Fornelli to Mark Ostin to give the Eagles a 28-9 lead. And ACA goes on to the win. 42-14 the final score. Big win for Arrowhead Christian out there at Redlands High School. All right, let's take a look at the scoreboard for the first time here on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. Grand Terrace 29-21 over San Gorgonio in San Andreas League play. Rim of the World over Rialto 41-8, also in the SAL. So Rim versus Grand Terrace next week is huge. Eisenhower over Kaiser 38-14. So Eisenhower will play Summit next week for the outright Sunkist League Championship. Winner take all. Summit blanking Harupa Hills 38-zip, the final in that one. Colton over Carter in the outright league championship game for the Skyline, all Yellow Jackets, 49-41. I shouldn't say all because Carter gave them a game back and forth. And Bloomington over Notre Dame, 49-zip in the Skyline League. It was Bohai over Arroyo Valley, 40-8, the final in that one. Mountain Valley League action, A.B. Miller, 3 better than Indian Springs. The late field goal for the Rebels does the trick. And Banning, and our guy Jake Niesel does it again. Big win against Cathedral City. Banning Broncos probably going to win that Sun Valley League. 54-32 the final there against Cat City. Congratulations to the Banning Broncos in the Sun Valley League. All right, we're going to take our first quick break here on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. When we come back, we've got Cajon versus Citrus Valley, Redlands versus Yucaipa. We're going to roll in some Ramona, Murrieta Valley, and we still got a lot to get to here. So come on back. It's Sports Weekly Live on IEMG, and we will see you right after this.
Hello everyone, here's what's up in San Bernardino for October 28th through November 3rd, 2024. Don't let your pet go hungry. Come to the Community Pet Pantry on Monday, held at the San Bernardino Animal Shelter, 333 Chandler Place in San Bernardino from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. For more information, call 909-384-1304. It's still a few days before Halloween, but kids and teens can stop by the Feldheim Central Library, 555 West 6th Street in San Bernardino on Tuesday at 4:30 to trick or treat in the library. It wraps up at 7:30 p.m. or when the candy runs out. For more information, call 909-381-8201. On Wednesday, come to the Pathway to Progress Fair Chance Hiring event located at 114 South Del Rosa Drive in San Bernardino. This event offers job seekers a supportive environment to explore career opportunities, network with potential employers, and access resources designed to help them succeed in the workforce. For more information, call 951-222-8221. On Thursday, it's a free trunk or treat and spooky Halloween house located at 1088 North 8th Street in San Bernardino from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Come get your pre-made candy bags and join all the safe fun. So just come on over. The City of San Bernardino is presenting the return of the Community Ofrenda for this year's Dia de los Muertos experience, held November 1st through the 3rd at Court Street Square, 349 Northeast Street in San Bernardino. It will be beautifully adorned with marigolds, candles, and traditional decorations for remembrance and celebration. For more information, call 909-384-5233. Attention actors, the California Theater of Performing Arts, 562 West 4th Street in San Bernardino, is holding open auditions for all roles of their upcoming production of Matilda the Musical. The audition consists of a script cold read, singing, and dance movements. For more details and information, call 909-885-8263. San Bernardino Market Night, 654 West 4th Street in San Bernardino, is a fixed location for food vendors to vend their products from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. This location was created by a cooperation of Inland Empire food vendors. Come by and enjoy a wide selection of tasty fresh foods from tacos to donuts. Plus, support small local businesses. And that's what's up in San Bernardino for October 28th through November 3rd, 2024. If you have an event that you'd like us to highlight here, send an email to events@videop.com. And we'll see you next time and we'll let you know what's up San Bernardino.
Looking to give your business a fresh new look? The City of San Bernardino's Facade Improvement Paintbrush Program is here to help, and applying is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Determine your eligibility by checking for your business location on the Facade Improvement Corridors interactive map. Simply enter your address in the search bar, and if your property is along a corridor and highlighted green, you're in a qualified area. Step 2. Read through the program guidelines and understand the process and requirements. Step 3. Fill out the Facade Improvement Grant application and click Submit. Our program partner, Small Business Development Center, will help you through the initial process. Visit www.sbcity.org/paintbrush program to get started.
And welcome back to Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. All right. Let's see. The highlights roll on in the Citrus Belt League. And you know the story as we go into week number 10. Beaumont has control of their own destiny. They went out. They are the outright Citrus Belt League champions for the first time in football. Right now, though, Cajon sitting in second place. They were playing Citrus Valley, which is essentially a battle for second place, but we knew the Cowboys had kind of really entrenched themselves in that second spot. They would need help to get a co-league championship if Beaumont for some reason dropped a game here in the last couple of weeks, which it sure doesn't look like it's going to happen. But it's still an important game against CV, because if Cajon won this game, that was basically a playoff spot. They knew they would be going to the playoffs. And it's always fun with Cajon and Citrus Valley. They've got some history now between the two teams because they've been really good the last several years. And so with all that said, let's take you out to Citrus Valley High School Cowboys and Blackhawks in CBL play. And for Citrus Valley, they struggled through non-league play. They got a lot of young players, and Coach Bruick knew it. But, hey, if they win next week against Redlands East Valley, they will go to the playoffs as well as the third-place team in the CBL. All right, Cajon, white helmets, white jerseys, looking real good. Get to the highlights here. Quarterback Evan Powell. This looks real good, too. Evan Powell going deep to his guy, Bjorn Birmingham. Big catch there, and that would set up first and goal for the Cowboys, and they just have to hand it to Brandon Rivers. Rivers gets across the goal line and in for the touchdown, and that would give Cajon the 6-0 lead. 2-point conversion, Powell to DJ Littles. 8-zip Cajon. And we're, I think less than 2 minutes into the game. So the Cowboys strike first. Then it's going to be Amaj Noli and Damian Ortiz leading some Cowboys there and on a big sack. And the Cowboys defense getting the job done against Citrus Valley as well. The Blackhawks going with Sean Wrightstone to start the game at quarterback, going deep downfield. But Cole Imbriani breaks it up, and he probably thought he should have had an interception. Good job, Cole. And then it's going to be back on offense with the Cowboys. Powell to Jared Rennick. The catch, got a little block to spring him loose. Probably picked up another 20 yards on this play with some blocking and some nice moves by Jared Rennick. Later on that drive, as we get to the end of the first quarter, it's going to be Rivers again. And you can't stop it. Rivers goes in for another Cajon touchdown to extend the Cowboys' lead. Then it's going to be Citrus Valley trailing 16-0. And they're going to play some defense here. It's going to be Jaden Bowens coming up with a big interception around midfield for the Blackhawks. So they were down 16-zip, but trying to fight their way back into this game. Now it's going to be Bowens in at quarterback for the Blackhawks. And Taylor Johnson coming up with a big hit as Bowens releases the football. And then it's going to be Citrus Valley punting, and it's going to be Littles on the other end. Picks up this ball off the bounce. Little risky, but Littles with a big return. DJ Littles, that's my DJ. Big return there for Cajon. So the Cowboys go back on offense. Great field position, a short field to work with thanks to Littles. It'll be Powell to Littles on the completion there. It's still a 16-0 game. Make it 22-0 as it's Rivers, his third touchdown in this game so far. So 3 scores. 1, 2, 3 for Brandon Rivers in this game. So 22-zip Cajon in the second quarter. And Mort Ortiz, man, this guy was all over the place for the Cajon Cowboys as he brings down Wrightstone, who was back in at quarterback for the Blackhawks. Cajon back on offense. Powell to Rivers. Rivers on the big pickup. Gets out towards the sideline, untouched, and it'll be Powell to Garcia. Big pickup here by Rivers, and then it'll be Powell to Hector Garcia. Cajon would take a 30-0 lead in this game, and they would bring it home. 44-13, the final score. Cajon wins. They move to 7-2 in overall and 3-1 in the CBL, and they are going to finish in second place in the Citrus Belt League standings. Citrus Valley at 2-6, but they are 2-2 in the CBL. And as I mentioned, they're going to finish up with Redlands East Valley next week. So assuming CV wins, then they would be the third place team out of the CBL. Now, Yucaipa sure looks like they're going to be the fourth place team in the Citrus Belt League. And they're going to have a winning record above 500 overall. So they're still in a spot to get an at-large position. And we're just assuming, what's going to happen in Week 10. So you can kind of make, assumptions of how the CBL standings are going to look going into the playoffs. So, but if Yucaipa is the fourth place team, they'll probably get into the playoffs. But they had to beat Redlands first. None of that matters if they didn't beat Redlands in week number 9. Yucaipa up 24-7 at halftime against the Terriers. So Yucaipa first had to take care of business. They beat Redlands, and they'd be in a good spot to finish out the year in fourth place. They've got Cajon next week. It'll be Cajon versus Yucaipa next week. And even with a loss for the Thunderbirds, they could still get into the postseason. Logan Barber, the touchdown there for Yucaipa. They led 31-7 in the third quarter, but the Terriers would not give up. They would not go down without a fight. Teddy McGee with the run there for the Terriers, and then it'll be quarterback Anthony Frere to Julian Scarborough. Scarborough gets loose, and he is fast. 68 yards, he's gone to the end zone. Touchdown Terriers, so 31-14. A little more interesting now, right, between the Thunderbirds and the Terriers. Logan Barber back the other way for Yucaipa. Big run there behind that awesome offensive line for Yucaipa. Then it's going to be Mitch McCarg. Usually steadies, great on defense, runs the ball hard, but a fumble on this play, and the Terriers get the ball back. Frere to Scarborough, deep downfield. That's a catch. And that's going to be about the 35-yard line of the Thunderbirds. And then Frere's going to go back to Scarborough here for another touchdown now in the fourth quarter. Scarborough the score, 31-20. The Terriers are back within 11. Here they come down the comeback trail. Yucaipa could really use one more score to put this game away. Barber, big run here, and then later on that same drive, about midway through the fourth quarter, it's going to be your guy, Deese Turner. Deese, the quarterback, he's gone. Nobody's going to get him. Turner goes in for the score, and Yucaipa wins 38-20. So they're 6-3 overall, 2-2 in the CBL. Yucaipa will finish with Cajon next week in week number 10, all right? So at least for the sake of our conversation, let's say Cajon wins next week. They would be 4-1 in the CBL, second place. Let's say Citrus Valley beats Rev. Then CV would be third place at 3-2. Yucaipa would be 2-3, but fourth place in the CBL, 6-4 overall. Good enough to get into the playoffs. So we'll see how it shakes out. Again, we're just assuming what might happen next week, assuming Cajon and CV and Beaumont all win. So a lot of assumptions there, but that's how it shakes out going into week number 10. Beaumont controls their own destiny. They would be outright CBL champions. And Cajon sitting pretty, though, at the number 2 position in the CBL. All right, now we're going to the Big West Conference. And for Murrieta Valley and Vista Murrieta, huge game, rivalry game. And for the Nighthawks, it also marked the return of star quarterback Bear Bachmeier. You can make a case that Bear Bachmeier is the top quarterback in the Inland Empire. He was heavily recruited by all of the top programs across the country, the SEC schools, the Big Ten schools, everybody. But he verbally committed to Stanford to join his brother, Tiger Bachmeier. Yes, Tiger and Bear. Well, Bear Bachmeier had an injury, a knee injury, I believe, and he made his season debut against Vista Murrieta, and it was a wild one between the Nighthawks and the Broncos. Pick it up in the third quarter. Vista Murrieta actually leading this one 35-29 when Dorian Hose, actually it was Bear to Correll Thomas for the touchdown. That makes it 36-35. Murrieta Valley regains the lead in the third. They lead by 1. And then it'll be Bear Bachmeier scrambling, keeping the play alive. Finds his guy, Cam Connor. Connor up the sideline, breaks a tackle, and gets it for the Nighthawks touchdown. They led in this game 50-35 after this Dorian Hose touchdown coming up. Hose going 65 yards, man, sprinting to the end zone. So the Nighthawks had a nice, comfortable lead in this game, up by 15. But you can never count out the Broncos. We're going to fast forward to late in the fourth quarter. It's now a 57-42 ball game with a minute to go. Vista Marietta, Bryson Beaver. Yeah, the Vista Marietta quarterback is Beaver, and the Marietta Valley quarterback is Bear. That is correct. Beaver, the touchdown pass with a minute left in the game, 57-49, all right? So the Broncos are still down 8, so they'd still have to get the onside kick, right? Well, they do exactly that. Vista Marietta gets the ball back. They recover the onside kick, but they would still have to go down and score the touchdown, right? They're not going to do that. Well, Beaver drops back and really feeling the pressure, just heaves it up towards the end zone, a 50-50 ball. And what would you know? Vista Marietta comes down with it for the touchdown. So it's now 57-55, 3 seconds left. The Broncos need the 2-point conversion to tie the game, and they do not get it. 57-55, Marietta Valley wins a shootout with Vista Marietta. Wow, what a game there. All right, let's go back to the Sports Weekly Live scoreboard. First, let's hit up the CBL. Cajon over Citrus Valley, 44-13 in a battle of the second-place teams. Now it's second and third-place teams after the win for the Cowboys. Yucaipa 38-20 against Redlands as the Terriers made it a little bit interesting in that fourth quarter. And Beaumont, a big winner against Redlands East Valley, 56-8. So Beaumont won at least a share of the CBL title. They can wrap it all up next week. Centennial, as we go to the Big West Upper, Centennial knocks out their rival Norco 60-21. It's Chaparral over Roosevelt 49-zip. Chaparral's probably your third place team in the Big West Upper, and Marietta Valley will probably be your second place team as they beat the Broncos 57-55. That's the Big West Upper. Now to the Big West Lower. Murrieta Mesa over King 28-13, and the Rams lock up at least a share of the Big West Lower title. Great Oak over Temecula Valley 28-22, so now Great Oak versus King will be for second place next week in week number 10. And Santiago over Corona 56-15. That was the Big West Lower. Now to the River Valley League, the Ramona Rams still working on the perfect undefeated season. They were taking on Rubidoux, and the Falcons gave them a battle. Let's take you out to Ram High, as they like to say. Ramona with the football, and there is Sincere Tolbert. Touchdown run by Sincere Tolbert, one of the top running backs in the area, and he's going to do it again here. Another touchdown run by Sincere Tolbert. Ramona goes on to beat Rubidoux 28-7, so the Rams move to 9-0 overall, 4-0 in the RVL. They wrap up at least a share of the River Valley League Championship, and again, they can go 10-0 with a win next week in week number 10. So there's only a couple of teams undefeated in the area. That would be Rubidoux at 9-0, and I know we're going to get to their score a little bit later, but Hemet is also 9-0 in the Sunkiss League. So a couple undefeated teams still out there roaming the earth right now or I should say after week number 9. All right, back to the scoreboard. In the River Valley League, the game that you just saw, Ramona over Rubidoux, 28-7, the final there. Norte Vista over La Sierra in their rivalry game, 41-7. Novi's going to be the second place team in the RVL, and Patriot will be the third place team out of the RVL as they beat Supa Dupa Harupa Valley 45-zip the final there. All right, from the River Valley League, moving along. Let's see, we've got a couple other scores from the Mountain Pass, West Valley and San Jacinto. There was an incident out in the San Jacinto community, and their game against West Valley, which is actually pretty important, was postponed. And I have not heard if they're planning to make up that game or when they would make up that game, but it was postponed. Elsinore over Tockwitz. Big win for the Tigers, 37-33. Also in the Mountain Pass. To the Mesquite League, Arrowhead Christian. Saw a couple highlights there. Big win for the Eagles. Also in the Mesquite, it was Linfield Christian 49-6 against Whittier Christian. So the Lions are still undefeated in league play. Big Bear over Maranatha 55-27. Also in the Mesquite. And in the Ironwood League, your Aquinas Falcons win their 40th straight game in league play. 40-7 against Capistrano Valley Christian. And the Falcons claim at least a share of the Ironwood League championship, and they can win the outright league title next week. Congratulations to Jordan Brusig and the guys. 40 straight league games. I don't care what league you're in. That is tough. Congratulations to Aquinas. All right, when we come back here on Sports Weekly Live, we're going to hit up the Rain Cross Conference. We'll be back here on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG.
Get ready for a multi-day Dia de los Muertos experience from November 1st to the 3rd at Court Street Square Park, located at 349 Northeast Street. Here's what you can expect. The community ofrenda will be on display during November 1st and 3rd from 12 to 6 p.m. Our ofrenda offers an opportunity for individuals to come together to focus on their loved ones who have passed away and to honor their memory. The main event will take place on Saturday, November 2nd from 4 to 9 p.m. Enjoy our community ofrenda display, live performances, a Catrina Catrin contest, art and food vendors, music, art displays, and a lot more. We invite you to join us in this meaningful gathering as we come together as a community to remember and celebrate those who have gone before us. See you there!
Beginning on July 1st, 2024, the City of San Bernardino Department of Animal Services will begin accepting stray animals from the cities of Colton, Fontana, and Rialto, in addition to the cities of San Bernardino, Loma Linda, and Grand Terrace. We are working to increase kennels and have already brought more staff in to help care for the pets at the shelter. If you live in one of these cities, you can help reduce the number of animals that need to come to the shelter by making sure your pet is microchipped and the contact information is current, so that if they do escape from their home, Animal Control can bring them back home instead of the shelter. If your pet does come to the shelter and you are worried about fees to come and pick them up, we do offer programs to help waive or cover these fees for residents. Studies show that pets, including dogs who stay in their neighborhoods, are more likely to be returned home. If you find a friendly stray or lost cat or dog, post their information on social media, including Facebook, Nextdoor, and Instagram. There are lost and found pets groups on most of these platforms. Owners often turn to these pages first to post and look for their lost pet. You may see a post from the owner of the pet you found, helping you get them back home fast. If the pet is friendly and you feel comfortable handling them, you can bring the stray animal to the shelter where we will scan them for a microchip and vaccinate them to prevent disease. If owner information isn't available, staff may ask if you are comfortable keeping the animal in your home for a couple of days. We will help with any needed supplies. Together, we can reduce the number of animals at the shelter. Please visit our website at www.sbcitypets.org to learn more about the programs and services we offer to the community.
All right, welcome back to Sports Weekly Live here on IEMG. We are now going to visit the Rain Cross Conference. And the Sun Belt League, which is that middle tier in the Rain Cross Conference, super competitive, still a lot to play for, not only in week number 9, but also in week number 10. Rancho Christian versus Hemet next week in week number 10 will be for the outright Sun Belt League Championship. Both teams picking up wins in week number 9. Hemet still undefeated with a big win, and Rancho Christian taking care of Hillcrest. They took care of Arlington the previous week. They got Hillcrest this week. And quarterback Emiliano Villarreal, the transfer from Rancho Cucamonga, finds his guy Cameron Jones, and that was really the theme in this game as they connected on a bunch of touchdowns. Here's another one from Villarreal to Jones, and then the deep ball. Check out Jones, gets behind the defense and hauls it in. Nice catch there. It was all Rancho Christian. This one, Hillcrest did make it a little bit more interesting at the end of this game, but Rancho Christian wins this one 30-21 as Cameron Jones, Emiliano Villarreal had huge games for the Eagles to set up this showdown to face Hemet next week. Winner take all for that Sun Belt League championship. Now, another big game in the Sun Belt was Riverside Poly taking on Valley View from Moreno Valley. Valley View looking to punch their ticket to the playoffs, finish in third place in the Sun Belt League, but they would have to get a big win against the Bears to make that happen. Quarterback Victor Aguilar goes in for the Riverside Poly touchdown, and that's going to tie the game at 7 apiece. And here comes another Poly score right here as they run it in from about 15 yards out, and the Bears would take the lead 14-7. It was a back and forth game, both teams taking the lead. And then it's going to be Poly in the red zone, and this would come out to be a very important play because Chris Ranson comes up with a huge interception for Valley View. So the Bears get no points on that drive. Still a 14-7 game. Now we're tied at 14. And Aguilar goes in for another Poly touchdown to momentarily give the Bears the lead 21-14. But Jesse Vega, the quarterback for Valley View, the long touchdown pass to tie the game at 21. Remember, Vega, he's a transfer from Summit High School in Fontana. He's a big-time quarterback. Vega finds his guy Kyle Winston. Winston is gone for another Valley View score, and the Eagles go on top 28-21. We were tied at 28 when Valley View takes the lead with about 2 minutes to play on that short yardage touchdown. So it's 35-28. Poly gets the football back, but they could not find any points on their final drive, and that would be it. 35-28 is the final score in that one. Valley View improves to 5-4 overall, 2-2 in league play. Riverside Poly drops to 2-7 overall, 1-3 in league action. And without doing the math, I don't think there's a path for them to get to the playoffs. But Valley View now in a very good spot to make the playoffs from out of the Sun Belt League. All right, so that's Sun Belt. Now we go to the Ivy League, and the game of all games next week, it'll be Orange Vista versus Rancho Verde for the Ivy League Championship. Greg Zomal at Orange Vista, Eric Zomal at Rancho Verde going head-to-head just like they did last year for the outright league championship. Orange Vista wrapping up the regular season against JW North on Teen Vision TV 16. Big shout out to our guy Johnny Nunez and his team at Teen Vision. And there's how the broadcast started. And it's going to be Deontay West taking it all the way back for the score for the Coyotes. They weren't done yet. Khalil Abdul Aziz, big-time quarterback for the Coyotes. The touchdown pass to Dylan Butcher for the score. And the Coyotes flying around on defense too. Nice tackle right there. But JW North trying to hang tough. Their quarterback Anthony Zavala takes off on the run. Big time pickup. Big chunky yards there for Zavala. But North punting. The ball goes over the punter's head. Oh, no. Running back towards the end zone, and the Coyotes will bring him down. They'll say he was down just outside of the end zone. Would not matter. It'll be Jordan Canada going in for the score for Orange Vista. Now later in the game, Abdul Aziz to Tristan Cooper. Coyotes getting into the red zone, and that would set up a score. And here is another score later in the game. A different drive, same two guys. Abdul Aziz to Cooper down the sideline and in for the touchdown. JW North still fighting to the finish. Big time hit by Zach Perez, but here comes another Orange Vista touchdown. Damian Bias gets in for the score. Orange Vista goes on to the win. 41-zip, the final. So it will be, as I mentioned, Orange Vista and Rancho Verde for the league title next week. All right, quick drink of water here. We got a lot of games. And let's see, we're going to wrap up the highlights here with Heritage versus Citrus Hill. This was in the Inland Valley League. Remember our old pal, Ron Geringer, the former head coach at San Gorgonio, now the head coach at Citrus Hill, trying to get the Hawks back into the playoffs, but they would need a big win against Heritage to get them in. And Citrus Hill versus Heritage, it's reminiscent of an old CIF championship game. This was also on Teen Vision TV 16 as Citrus Hill going to the end zone. and they got the touchdown. Kalen Stevens, the touchdown catch there for the Hawks. Heritage quarterback Achilles Reveles gets in there. Reveles runs in the score. That ties the game at 6, and then Heritage takes the lead when Reveles throws to the end zone. He's got the touchdown throw there. 12-6, Heritage on top. The Patriots looking for more points later in the game. Nothing doing there. Good defense there by Citrus Hill. Then Heritage, penalty right here against Citrus Hill. So the Hawks drive continues. It's still alive here in the fourth quarter. 4th and long. And what a catch by the Hawks. They're around the 15-yard line. But they would not get into the end zone. 12-6 would be the final score as Heritage gets the win in Inland Valley League action. All right, back to the scoreboard, everybody. Let's do this. We start in the the Ivy League. Orange Vista 41-zip against JW North. Rancho Verde 24-13 against Liberty. So now Rancho Verde versus Orange Vista, outright Ivy League championship on the line. And Vista Del Lago over Paloma Valley 45-zip. The VDL Ravens will be the 3rd place team from out of the Ivy League. The Ivy League, super competitive this year, man. So was the Sun Belt League. Really fun games this season. Hemet over Arlington 48-7, so the Bulldogs are 9-0, 4-0 in the Sun Belt. They will take on Rancho Christian, who was a big winner against Hillcrest. We told you 30-21. And Valley View over Pauley, 35-28 the final there. So that's the Sun Belt League. And one more league in the Raincross Conference, the Inland Valley League. Canyon Springs 53-40 over Paris. We had Moval over Lakeside 49-28. So what does that mean? It means Canyon Springs versus Moreno Valley for the outright Inland Valley League championship. We've got 4 or 5 leagues where it's going to be an outright league championship game in week number 10. So that is awesome. And Heritage over Citrus Hill, you just saw 12-6. All right, let's go to the Week 10 schedule. We'll start in the CBL. Cajon can finish in 2nd place in the CBL with a win against Yucaipa. Beaumont could win the CBL championship outright with a win against the Redlands Terriers, and Citrus Valley can clinch a playoff spot. This is a playoff game for the Blackhawks right here as Kurt Bruick faces his former team, Redlands East Valley. To the Big West Upper, Centennial will take on Chaparral. The Huskies will win that outright league championship. Murrieta Valley over Roosevelt. The Nighthawks look like your 2nd place team in the Big West Upper. And finally, Vista Murrieta taking on Norco. The winner of this one might have a chance of getting to the playoffs. A better chance for Vista Murrieta because they will have an overall winning record. Big West Lower, King versus Great Oak. This will be for 2nd place in the league standings. Santiago will try their luck with the 1st place Murrieta Mesa Rams. And finally in the Big West Lower, Temecula Valley and Corona. The Golden Bears need a win against Corona to have a shot at making the playoffs. Aquinas, Ironwood League action, trying to go for league win number 41 in a row. That was the Ironwood League. Mesquite League, Arrowhead Christian will make the trip up to Big Bear. We got Linfield Christian taking on Western Christian. The Lions trying to win the outright league title. San Andreas League, San Gorgonio taking on Rialto. The Spartans need to win this game to try to maybe get a co-league title or finish in 2nd place. Rim of the World versus Grand Terrace. You already know, if GT wins, they are the league champions. If Rim of the World wins, it'd be a 3-way tie for 1st. To the Sunkist, Summit versus Eisenhower, the outright league championship game right there. And we've got Kaiser versus Harupa Hills. That's your Sunkist League, only 4 teams. Now to the Skyline League. Colton will take on Notre Dame. If Colton wins, they're the outright league champions, and it sure looks like they do. Notre Dame is winless on the season. Fontana versus Bloomington. This is an important game in terms of the league standings in the Skyline League. And Carter will finish up with Arroyo Valley. If the Lions win, They will be the second place team from out of the Skyline League. Mountain Valley League, another important game in week number 10 as Indian Springs will play San Bernardino. And that could be either Indian Springs all alone in second place or a shared second place in the MVL. River Valley League, Ramona versus Patriot. Patriot's tough. Listen, that's not an automatic win for Ram High. Patriot's tough, but Ramona working on the undefeated season. Rubidoux versus La Sierra. And Norte Vista will take on Supa Dupa Harupa Valley in RVL action. All right, now to the Mountain Pass. It'll be West Valley taking on Tahquitz, but really the team to beat is the Jacks. San Jacinto will close out the regular season against Temescal Canyon, and that is Mountain Pass League play in Week 10. All right, moving along to the Ivy League, your league championship game. Zomalt versus Zomalt. Orange Vista versus the Rancho Verde. Vista Del Lago versus JW North. The Ravens with a win, all alone in third place in the Ivy League. And finally, Liberty versus Paloma Valley. That feels like a rivalry game now, even though Liberty's still a relatively new school. All right, keep it in the Raincross Conference. We got Rancho Christian, against Hemet, your outright league title game in the Sun Belt. We got Valley View versus Hillcrest, and that's another important game in the battle for third place and an automatic playoff spot in the Sun Belt League, or even fourth place to be an at-large team. And we got Arlington versus Riverside Poly in the Sun Belt. And finally, in the Raincross Conference, Inland Valley League, Moreno Valley versus Canyon Springs. Winner take all. The winner of this one will be your Inland Valley League champion. The loser will be the second place team. We also have Paris versus Heritage in the battle for third place in a playoff spot in the Inland Valley League. And Citrus Hill and our friend Coach G, Ron Geringer, taking on Lakeside in Inland Valley League play in week number 10. So that's how it all shakes out as we go into the final week of the regular season. All right, so thank you for joining us here in week number 9. I think the plan for next week for Sports Weekly Live on IEMG, if you've made it to the end of the show, the end of this video, I think the plan is, because the playoff brackets will come out on Sunday morning and into the afternoon, I think we're going to do our Sports Weekly Live not on Saturday but on Sunday, so we can show you all the highlights from Week 10, but also break down the playoff matchups and the playoff divisions next week. So look for Sports Weekly Live on Sunday next week. It'll be your Week 10 show, just like we do every week, here on Sports Weekly Live, but also our playoff preview show. So stay tuned for that. It'll not be on Saturday like usual. It'll be on Sunday, so we can make it a combined playoff show. You guys all got that, right? Okay. Well, give this video a like, subscribe to the Inland Empire Media Group YouTube channel. We've had a lot of fun this high school football season, and we are not done yet. As long as we got local teams going deep in the playoffs, we'll be right here on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time.